I don't want a nice magazine. I want a magazine that can't be ignored. That's how D. Herbert Lipson, the late publisher of Philadelphia and Boston, thought about magazines. Uncompromising in his belief that strong opinions were absolutely essential to magazine making, he pushed himself, his editors, and his staffs to challenge city officials and readers to make the places where we live better. As a legacy to him and to what he believed important in shaping city magazines, CRMA is renaming the column category the Herb Lipson Award for Column Excellence. Hopefully, Herb's legacy and his bold writing will serve as an example to writers, editors, and publishers that a persuasive point of view is an essential element in creating magazines that readers want and indeed need. In the category of essays, commentary, and criticism, the finalists are Alaska Magazine, What They Did for Fun, Carrie Riley. This searing account of a well-meaning city girl's encounter with village elders in a Yupuk community in western Alaska leaves an indelible impression. Riley's essay matches the no-nonsense attitude of her indigenous subjects and makes the wisdom they impart all the more memorable. Boston Magazine. When did Boston's gay scene get so straight? Scott Kiernan. With a well-woven mix of history, politics, and personal anecdotes, Kiernan chronicles Boston's gay bar scene from its raucous underground early days through its evolution into the mainstream, and back out again. Who knew gender identity could be so complicated? Charlotte Magazine. Our Last Home. Jesse Soloff. It's impossible to read this essay about the cruel cancer that came between the author and his wife without running out of tissues. Soloff brings us inside his grief through his affectionate portrait and the powerful way he details the hours that followed his wife's death. Indianapolis Monthly. Throwing in the Chair. John Wertheim. This account of the suffering endured by Indiana University basketball fans thanks to the pettiness of legendary coach Bobby Knight is an alley-oop of an essay. With flair and grace, a die-hard fan comes to grips with the fact that his brash and brilliant hero is, in the final analysis, just a jerk. Yankee Magazine. A Place to Get Away. Wayne Curtis. Listen to the wind through the trees and the squeak of the rusty screen door as you retreat from civilization to a Maine summer camp. Time slows here. Generations following generations in the same chores, activities, and musty history. In the category of food or dining writing, the finalists are Chicago Magazine, Carrie Shedler. A writer who wears her intellectual curiosity on her sleeve, Shedler leads a narrative with measured but satisfying reveals. In each piece, readers feel like companions on her journey. Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine, Dara Moskowitz Grumdahl. This is big and bright writing, smart, friendly, folksy, yummy, and fun. Like the last bite of your favorite dessert, you want more. Philadelphia Magazine, Jason Sheehan. There is something magical about this writing, a perfect pairing of romanticism and objectivity. Sheehan loves restaurants, but isn't afraid to cast a critical eye. He's an intrepid gourmand whose reviews are elegant, informative, and, at times, novelistic. Seattle Met, Alicia Vermillion. Scents from a mall approaches an item we likely take for granted, the Cinnabon, of all things, and gives it life. The rest of Vermillion's pieces combine rigorous reporting with a sense of humor. Above all, they're fun. Yankee Magazine, Amy Traverso. There are some unforgettable lines in this work. In Baking with the Brass Sisters, for example, we read, "Families are like fudge, sweet but with a few nuts." Past the fudge, Traverso's writing is good. For the Herb Lipson Award for Column Excellence, the finalists are Boston Magazine, David Bernstein. Bernstein knows what he's talking about, and it shows, whether he's focusing on the peculiarities of politics or the police response to gun violence. His hard-won expertise and commitment to in-depth reporting shines. Indianapolis Monthly, Philip Gulley. From recognizing that he has yet to come to terms with his mother's death, to the educational value of summer vacation for kids, to what he and his wife would haul out of their house in case of a fire, Gulley's writing employs the poetic, as well as the pragmatic. Indianapolis Monthly, Deborah Paul. Paul brings an authenticity to her work few columnists match. She trusts readers with her views, her trials, and her tribulations. Her column on her own opioid dependency will be remembered for its beautiful portrait of the human condition. Philadelphia Magazine, Sandy Hingston. Hingston takes the most unexpected and seemingly mundane subject matter, like how we watch TV or play board games, and turns her columns into delightful, illuminating reads. Philadelphia Magazine, Holly Otterbein. Otterbein dives deep, rejecting platitudes and easy answers in her well-reported political columns. Here she focuses on socialist millennials, unsure Democrats, and a Republican dodging meetings. If only all political writing were this good. In the category of reporting, the finalists are New Jersey Monthly, City on Edge, Nick DiUlio. A classic urban study, this is a portrait of a small city becoming bigger with painful side effects. DiUlio makes a persuasive case that Lakewood, New Jersey suffers from a kind of structural corruption. The powers that be don't so much break the laws as make them for their benefit. A powerful, unsettling profile of a boomtown losing its soul. Philadelphia Magazine. Did Raphael Raab plot the perfect murder? Steve Volk. Volk's gripping story of murder and deception masterfully re-examines whether justice was really served. Aggressive reporting, deft writing, and keen insight leave readers with the queasy feeling that prosecutors should have done much more. Philadelphia Magazine. Does a sleepy shore town like Avalon really need 21 cops, a multi-million-dollar library, and a school system that spends $47,000 on every kid? David Gambacorta. Gambacorta's pitch-perfect, jazzy writing style delights as he raises some serious public policy questions about how many services this shore town really needs. What could have been a slog of budget analyses is more like a journalistic frolic on the beach. Seattle Met. While in custody, Ciara O'Rourke. Reaching through the apathy that can plague stories about prisons is tough, but O'Rourke masterfully lays out the fate of people who die in U.S. jails with no determined cause by blending intimate stories with authoritative data and not falling into the victim-villain trap. Texas Monthly. The Drug Runners, Ryan Goldberg. For this masterful mix of reporting and storytelling, Goldberg spent months winning the trust of a small Mexican indigenous group. This elegantly structured tale reveals new facets of the drug economy, immigration policy, urbanization, and the ways in which cultural enthusiasms in the U.S. can set into motion unforeseen transformations abroad. In the category of profile, circulation less than 60,000, the finalists are Cleveland Magazine, Leonore's Choice, Sheehan Hanan. This profile of an immigrant forced to take sanctuary in her church to avoid being deported and leaving her children behind proves the power of immersion to propel a story. 3 days spent with Leonore in the church enabled Hanan to paint a timely, compelling portrait. Madison Magazine, The Real Mike Koval, Doug Moe. With officer-civilian shootings in the headlines, Moe draws a compelling, detailed picture of a police chief at the center of local controversy over the strained relationship between his department and the community it serves. Sacktown Magazine, Homecoming Queen, Leilani Marie LeBong. This profile is a love letter to Sacramento, much like Lady Bird, the directorial debut of its subject, Greta Gerwig. With writing that is breezy and visual, LeBong invites readers to pull up a chair as she chronicles the hometown director's journey. Seattle Met, Michael Foster is defiant. Catherine Robinson. Drawing out the fierce commitment and fiery energy of environmental activist Michael Foster, who shut down the North Dakota Keystone Pipeline in 2016, had to be a formidable task. This profile does it, weaving the tale of Foster's audacious act into details of his relentless fight against climate change. St. Louis Magazine, Coming Home, Jeanette Cooperman. Profiling a writer can be intimidating. Cooperman embraced that challenge in her story about Bettyville author George Hodgman. The story explores his effort to reboot in rural Missouri after his mother's death and his years in New York. Rich observation and revealing quotes help Hodgman's humor come to life. In the category of profile, circulation more than 60,000, the finalists are Boston Magazine, Mike Dukakis' Last Stand, Robert Huber. This is a deeply sympathetic portrait of a politician who has committed his life to service. Here we glimpse, in his twilight years, the personal rewards and some toll that the spotlight and commitment have brought him. Authoritative, intimate, and unexpectedly poignant. Chicago Magazine, Inmate number 40892-424, David Bernstein. Bernstein's profile of Rod Blagojevich's life in prison is a marvel. The former governor's daily routine is brought to life, and the quiet revelations, humble triumphs, and insights into the politician's surprising growth make for a gripping read. It's a finely observed study of human foible and redemption. Chicago Magazine, The Ballad of Ed Bad Boy Brown, Brian Smith. Using gorgeous language that provides a clear sense of place, Smith constructs an illuminating profile of one fierce young Chicagoan who wouldn't leave his neighborhood behind. In structure and in tone, a work of outstanding skill. Washingtonian, Jenny Stepanik's Last Heart Song, Justin Heckert. This stunning piece sneaks up on you. From the story's first painful image through its revelatory conclusion, Heckert takes what could be the saccharine tale of a mother's love and weaves it into a focused, driving, significant contemplation of what it means to face death and go on living. Washingtonian, Breitbart's other man in the White House, Luke Mullins. In profiling Matt Boyle, Mullins goes deep. He provides foreshadowing and incisive anecdotes of Boyle before and after joining Breitbart in 2012 and his radicalization that followed. The story moves quickly and culminates with a stinging quote that underscores how Boyle views his role in politics. In the category of feature story, circulation less than 60,000, the finalists are Indianapolis Monthly, The Wurlitzer's Last Waltz, Jeff Vrabel. This is a bittersweet account of a much-loved pipe organ and its many admirers. The lively writing and well-rounded reporting managed to skirt the sentimental, conveying instead a surprising tale of boom, bust, and rebirth. Seattle Met, The Russian Spies Who Fooled Seattle, James Ross Gardner. This fascinating story of spycraft captures attention for its masterful storytelling, perfectly framed by the vibrant constructivist design. The writer expertly unspools the truth, luring readers on in a real-life tale worthy of John le Carré. Seattle Met, The Secret Life of Urban Crows, James Ross Gardner. A girl, a crow, and a funeral offer insight into the human side of Seattle's so-called pests. Gardner observes with rapt attention as PhD candidate Kaylee Swift facilitates the mourning rituals of Seattle's avian outcasts. St. Louis Magazine, Too Much Money, Jeanette Cooperman. No great crime tale can be written without copious research and gathering, the sweat equity of narrative storytelling. But getting one's piece out of the notes and onto the page is where the art begins. Here, Cooperman brings flesh to the skeleton of strong reportage, creating a word movie that makes us read to the end. St. Louis Magazine, Faith, Hope, and Blame. Jeanette Cooperman. Deeply detailed and somewhat against the grain, rarely is the priest the protagonist in such a story, the prose here is deft and understated. Kudos to St. Louis Magazine for fostering such great work. In the category of feature story, circulation more than 60,000, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Lost and Found, Robert Sanchez. Sanchez takes readers on a remarkable journey into the rarefied world of body hunters, the expert investigators hired to find human remains. His profile is worthy of a CSI episode, full of mystery, emotion, and gee-whiz science that offers a revealing look at cold cases left by some of history's worst criminal minds. Boston Magazine, How Far Would You Go to Save Your Little Girl? Chris Sweeney. Sweeney deftly simplifies complex medical jargon to tell a gripping story about one mother's quest to cure her daughter's rare genetic abnormality and the power of familial love. Chicago Magazine, Welcome to Refugee High. Ellie Fishman. Fishman takes readers inside Sullivan High, a haven for teen immigrants and a model for integrating young refugees into American life. Her vivid storytelling and hopeful outlook compels you to root for these kids and the teachers helping them thrive. Houstonia, The Heroes of Harvey, Staff. Houstonia's immersion into the drama and courage during Hurricane Harvey combines tireless reporting and elegant storytelling to paint a harrowing portrait of civic pride and perseverance. Tales of tragedy and triumph are impressively rendered through lyrical narrative, photography, and graphics illustrating the storm's violent path. Texas Monthly, The Trouble with Innocence, Michael Hall. This poignant portrait of a wrongly convicted man exonerated and released after almost 40 years in jail, only to struggle to assimilate to his old life, masterfully illustrates the lifelong chains the U.S. incarceration system leaves and the subsequent mental stress those chains cause. In the category of Writer of the Year, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Robert Sanchez. The stories resonate. Sanchez's look at NecroSearch International's pioneering work on identifying human remains rises above the clinical to be surprisingly powerful and human. Another highlight is his examination of Leadville, Colorado, and how Trump's election, among other things, disturbed its fragile balance. Boston Magazine, Simon Van Zwielenwood. The Scene. Eccentric millionaire Ernie Bach Jr.'s personal mausoleum is being built behind his Boston mansion. When it's complete, Bach promises that it will have heating, a bathroom, and Neil Young music. Perfect. Among Van Zwielenwood's other good work, his profiles stand out. Cleveland Magazine, James Bigley II. These are good and important stories. Highlights include a profile of a t-shirt company that employs workers with AIDS and HIV to produce stigma-fighting message shirts, and a series of short, heart-swelling profiles of homeless youth finally given a chance at a place to live. Moving pictures, moving stories. D Magazine, Zach Crane. Zach Crane is a profile master. His writing is colorful and evocative. His clever turns of phrase inspire envy, and importantly, his insightful portraits challenge assumptions, leaving readers with a new appreciation for their lived experience. Gulf Shore Life, Jennifer Reed. Jennifer Reed tells stories of those who don't often find themselves in magazines, writing heartfelt, humanizing portraits of undocumented immigrants, as well as a poignant series on teenagers in a crime-ridden neighborhood. In the category of excellence in writing, the finalists are 5280, Denver, November. 5280 begins with inspired ideas and turns them into stories that are stylish, witty, and information-rich. The writing is elegant and lively, and the copy is expertly edited and presented. 5280 understands it's all about matching pace, tone, and language. Boston Magazine, December. With engagingly written news features, retrospective pieces, and easy-to-digest service stories, Boston Magazine delivers an entertaining, informative read. The writers and editors bring their subjects to life, pacing their storytelling with poignant anecdotes and revealing quotes, demonstrating they always have readers in mind. Chicago Magazine, October. Tightly edited, yet refreshingly composed, the stories in Chicago Magazine consistently pull readers in. The prose reads with authority, giving the sense that writers are pushed to grab the most from their subjects. This is edgy, far from stuffy writing that strikes ideal notes. Philadelphia Magazine, April. What comes through in the writing at Philadelphia Magazine is thoughtfulness and a magazine stalwart animated by ideas. That rigor carries over to the departments that are smart, salty, and substantive. The voice is beautifully consistent. Someone, clearly, is sweating the details. Texas Monthly, August. Texas Monthly proves that strong reporting and riveting details contribute to powerful writing. Superb editing is evident here, as is an emphasis on pitch-perfect pace and delivery. Extraordinary stories by authoritative writers are enhanced by language that is crisp, clear, and wise. In the category of spread design, circulation less than 60,000, the finalists are Baltimore Magazine, All the Right Moves. This layout communicates the stark, graphic nature of a chessboard, along with the youth and exuberance of the players. The photo is engaging, and the spread holds together through the small hits of red. The tiled ceiling subtly reinforces the pattern. Palm Springs Life, The Nature of Time. The old diamonds and denim trick. Juxtaposing discarded items with luxury timepieces, the haunting photo feels like a memento in the best possible way and supports a larger theme of the passage of time. The type beautifully echoes the photo. Portland Monthly, Coffee and Pastries. An enticing breakfast still life pairs beautifully with a playful type treatment, evoking leisurely mornings at a favorite cafe. The subhead overlaid onto the tiles in a bright red burst keeps this from looking too nostalgic. Portland Monthly, World of Color. These parts add up to a successful, well-integrated concept. The photo styling and type treatment support the idea well. The scale of the photos is lively and dynamic, and choice of typeface is killer. Seattle Met, Man in the Middle. This design, with its smooth, unsettling quality and its sensitive combination of typography and image, stands out for its originality. Hints of Russian constructivism play nicely with up-to-date graphic elements, making this layout pop. In the category of spread design, circulation more than 60,000, the finalists are 5280, Denver, 25 Best Restaurants. What is a magazine spread if not a plate upon which is served a selection of sensory delights? Here, the typographic elements become an appetizing accompaniment to the gustatory treats. The bold, full-flavored juiciness of the typography pays homage to the tasty creations. Texas Monthly, Creature from the Green Lagoon. Here, readers are drawn into a mysterious and menacing landscape. Words dart in and out of sight, daring us to divine their meaning. Type is transformed from a static, two-dimensional conveyance into a kinetic element, animating an arresting tableau vivant. Texas Monthly, The Empathy of David Brown. Portraiture often serves as an advertisement for the celebrity and individuality of the subject. Here, composition, color, and lighting become more than externally applied effects. They've created an aura and transformed their subject into an iconic presence. Washingtonian, America's oldest living drug advice columnist, tells all. Return with us now, this spread urges, to a time of psychedelic posters and velvet bell-bottoms, a time when graphics freed themselves from decorum and became vehicles for personal expression. The photo and the loopy typography come together on a nostalgic trip to that astral plane. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Yankee Magazine, Fields of Gold. These pages create a graphic evocation of the farm-to-table movement. The corn seems to have been picked this very morning. The brush script manifests the work of the human hand. The elements combine to remind us of the elegant pleasure derived from the simplest and most familiar experiences. In the category of feature design, circulation less than 60,000, the finalists are Baltimore Magazine, Cakewalk. This design presents a lot of information in an engaging, accessible way. The weathered sign uses fun type and imagery to set the tone and invite readers in. Repeating the wooden background ties the feature together nicely. Baltimore Magazine, The Great Outdoors. The heart carving and illustrations from the following pages create a nice solution for the opening spread. Illustrations of the plants and animals contrast well with the photography, and a strong use of color organizes the elements and helps pull readers in. Honolulu Magazine, Drink Local. This feature has a lot of personality, from energetic typography to a unique color scheme, from lively illustrations to expressive photography. These pages are active and entertaining while maintaining a clear design hierarchy. Seattle Met, Best Restaurants 2017. Photography and iconographic illustration coexist nicely here, where everything from color to typography is understated and functional. The use of heavy line art ties the feature together and gives it a modern, clean look. St. Louis Magazine, The Perfect Recipe. From concept to execution, the exceptional photography and styling tells this playful story of the perfect recipe for love. The graphic page titles add a secondary layer throughout the visual journey. In the category of feature design, circulation more than 60,000, the finalists are 5280, Denver, The Hipsterification of Denver. A clever and humorous photo illustration sets the tone for this package. The gridded design guides readers on a journey that pokes fun at the stereotypes associated with today's hipsters. Through lists, graphics, charticles, and essays, 5280 offers the breakdown on the bearded masses' rise and fall. Houstonia, Relaxation Street. The layout evokes a calming experience with its subtle design. From the soothing pastels and watercolor moments to the whimsical type treatments, it keeps readers engaged while offering an array of advice for a relaxing summer. Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine, A Tale of Two Summers. So clever, so well thought out. This perfect intersection of art and editorial shows how a playful editorial design can be engaging, informative, and most of all, fun. Texas Monthly. 20 things you need to know about Texas music in 2017. Strong, thick topography mixed with faded pop colors reminiscent of screen-printed gig posters set the tone for this deep and enlightening look into the Texas music scene. Texas Monthly. Long live Texas football. Strong photography, design, and topography all work together to illustrate the vibe of this story. The active, bold design does an effective job of telling readers this is a story about Texas football without having to read the words. In the category of photography, the finalists are Boston Magazine, Lasinia DeVie, Sasha Flaging. These photographs, with the wild assortment of patterns, shapes, and colors, not only imitate the great work of Henry Matisse, they feel like paintings. The lighting accentuates the texture and causes the model and clothing to become part of the surroundings, much like a painting. Chicago Magazine, Faces of a Century, Sandro. The dynamic lighting and saturated color is a beautiful way to honor these centenarians. A strong portrait series highlighting a variety of emotions, all with depth and dignity. The powerful opener is full of celebration and life. D Magazine, Faces of Change, Jill Broussard and Elizabeth Lavin. In these stark, black and white portraits of transgender children, most of the subjects gaze directly into the camera, conveying dignity and self-assurance. Some are joyous, while others project a quiet confidence and acceptance of self. Palm Springs Life, 2 Leagues Under the Sea, Frederick Broden. The muted colors and lifeless images create a feeling of sadness and despair. In this cohesive essay, the images are perfectly composed and edited for pacing and impact. Yankee Magazine, A Hard Life Made Beautiful, Joel Woods. These powerful photographs provide a deep exploration, an intimate window into a hard life few know. The mix of 4 colors and black and white enhances the thoughtful tension between the stillness of the portraits and the energetic fishing landscape. In the category of illustration and graphics, the finalists are 5280, Denver. How Colorado Are You? Cruel Currents, Denver's Top Dentists. 5280 hits the nail square on the head with submissions that are consistently inventive and visually stunning. This work is on par with any national magazine available today. Chicago Magazine, The Bite That Changed My Life, Outward Bound, The Ballad of Ed Bad Boy Brown. A remarkable feature about Chicago Magazine is the playful, enticing work it does in moving with seemingly effortlessness amongst various design points of view. Design becomes the space where each story breathes in its own terms. D Magazine, The Old Man and the Lake, because Zeke is already the best running back in the NFL. Craig Watkins wants another shot. D Magazine art team's apt commissioning of front-of-book illustration portraits and feature stories shows a real commitment to using top talent. Andre Carrillo's portrait of former Dallas District Attorney Craig Watkins is a standout. Memphis Magazine, Elvis in the Pages of Memphis Magazine, Roy Orbison, Freedom of the Press. Memphis Magazine recognizes the value of casual elegance, space, and structure in design, and plays that on its favor to deliver an experience via illustration and graphics that is informative and evocative. Yankee Magazine, Twilight in Dinosaur Land, Leaf People, Behind the Scenes at Topsfield Fair. Yankee Magazine's unique brand of storytelling is brought to life through its timeless layouts and knockout images. Each story has a strong flavor that connects directly to Yankees' brand and furthers its long history of delivering top-notch visuals. In the category of cover excellence, the finalists are Indianapolis Monthly, August, September, December. Indianapolis Monthly's covers are lively, inviting, and feature elements of surprise. The best of Indy is a delightful interplay between text and whimsical illustration. Clearly, they are having fun, and it shows. Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine, February, June, October. Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine has the knack for presenting covers that engage and entice. A smart mix of photography and type reinforces the magazine's message while inviting readers in. Palm Springs Life, February, September, November. Free from the confines of typical city regional material, Palm Springs Life explores beauty for beauty's sake. The minimal typography allows the stunning photography to do the heavy lifting. Each cover is a keepsake that exudes luxury. Philadelphia Magazine, February, September, December. Simple, inventive, voicey, refreshing. Philadelphia Magazine maximizes the effectiveness of its covers by pairing hyper-focused messaging with bold graphics. These covers have something to say. Listen. Texas Monthly, June, October, November. Texas Monthly understands how to make visually impactful covers and to think unconventionally. Each element is carefully laid out, and the typography, graphic elements, and images all work harmoniously. In the category of Designer of the Year, the finalists are Austin Monthly, Ashley Birch. Bold, creative, and elegant design elements are seen throughout Birch's work. Her feature packages are clean, concise, and playful. The mix of creativity and polished photography makes for an exciting experience. Portland Monthly, Michael Novak. Bold color to connote a wide range of moods, and an architectural use of typography set Novak's work apart. Through visual narratives and his distinct voice, he constructs an invitation to a city, offering readers an alluring sense of place. St. Louis Magazine, Tom White. All subjects are deserving of the royal treatment in St. Louis Magazine. Unafraid to use custom typography to playfully tell a story, or bold, declarative type to stop readers in their tracks, White's designs are executed at the highest level. Texas Monthly, Emily Kimbrough. Kimbrough's designs feature innovative type treatments and colors. Her attention to detail and clever use of graphic elements, illustration, and photography add to a rich, engaging style. The resulting balance makes for consistently exceptional work. Texas Monthly, Victoria Milner. Milner's designs feel both expressive and restrained. Well-chosen typefaces are used creatively, balanced with carefully considered whitespace. Evocative color palettes, wonderful illustrative elements, and interesting crops and bleeds add to the appeal. In the category of Excellence in Design, the finalists are Boston Magazine, August. Dignified, orderly, classic, concise, and readable, Boston makes a strong first impression. This straightforward, no-nonsense presentation favors content over packaging, lending it an air of seriousness and credibility, and providing a strong, easily recognized visual identity. Indianapolis Monthly, September. Indianapolis Monthly is jam-packed with good information, stylistic infographics, photography, and typography. While offering visual variety and creative flourishes, the design is smart and cohesive throughout. Palm Springs Life, October. A purely typed cover with a beautiful color gradation. There is something radically different about Palm Springs Life. The white space and images are manipulated to create a look that is cool, yet approachable. Modern typography elevates the look to a sophistication rarely seen in traditional magazines. Portland Monthly, May. Portland Monthly oozes the city on every page. From the dynamic design aesthetic to the food photography to small typographic details, the magazine is exciting and edgy. With a clean, elegant delivery, the design shifts appropriately without losing cohesiveness. Texas Monthly, June. The levels of craftsmanship and attention to detail in Texas Monthly are extremely high. So too are the levels of advertising clutter. So the designers have wisely chosen a distinctive typographic mix for the editorial space, so its pages stand out in a boisterous crowd. In the category of magazine section, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Compass, Adventure, Culture, and Eat and Drink. 5280's front of book comprises several distinct parts, but coheres well as a service-packed guide. The section conveys a strong sense of place with a vigorous mix of events, personalities, and discoveries. A balance of striking photography and vivid illustration is true to the magazine's mission of providing useful, aspirational information to an active readership. Indianapolis Monthly, Circle City. Circle City is an expertly organized and engaging section with crystal clear hierarchy. There's a familiar comfort to the section's pacing, yet plenty of surprises. From sidebars to factoids to headlines, the design elements help readers navigate, and clever art solutions appear frequently as well. Portland Monthly, Mudroom. The intelligent, fun stories, often paired with illustration, give Mudroom tons of character and set a powerful tone for the whole section. Supported by well-integrated photography and a strong color palette, the design works as one with the editorial content. Seattle Met, Currents. Currents captures all that makes this city what it is: smart, edgy, political, and humorous. Opening visuals are eclectic and playful. The wide-ranging topics are artfully threaded together, leaving readers feeling inspired, informed, and connected. Washingtonian, Where and When. The dynamic layout and strong structure of this section enhances the well-chosen photography to create an engaging front of book. The simple color palette and controlled design add to its effective and efficient communication. In the category of reader service, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Off and Running. This most impressive package includes useful advice that applies to everyone from beginners to marathoners, expertly designed with eye-catching graphics, engaging quizzes, and smart product knowledge, inspiring from start to finish. D Magazine, a voter's guide to the bond package. This is a wonky and decidedly unsexy topic, yet the result is a robust package that arms readers with information they need to make educated decisions about bond issues. This isn't the flashiest type of service journalism, but it's arguably the most critical. Philadelphia Magazine, How to Be Nice, a Philadelphian's Guide. This feature gives a possibly mawkish topic, common courtesies, a clever spin. Filled with useful advice that addresses our daily tension touchpoints, the gym, driving, and how to talk politics. It's a roadmap for the modern ages. Seattle Met, Hope and Resistance. This powerful package, published 3 months after the 2016 election, captured the spirit of a city wrestling with what's next. With a guide to giving and a look at how readers around Seattle could join the resistance, it funneled that anxiety into action. Washingtonian, Newcomer's Guide. The Insider's Handbook showcases DC's good, bad, and ugly in clever, creative ways. As entertaining as it is informative, It's a must-read for anyone looking to survive and thrive in the nation's capital. It makes quick work of living like a local. In the category of leisure lifestyle interests, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Guide to Four Corners. From the opening photograph to the consecutive pages of fun, fascinating sights and scenes, this guide is a visual feast. Graphic repetition keeps the spreads cohesive, while the layers of information assure readers get all that is promised. Chicago Magazine, How to Buy Art. On the opening spread of How to Buy Art, readers are met with an impactful graphic headline and intro that draw attention. After the initial grab, every page delivers another surprise that assures readers will stay engaged. This is reader service at its best. Houstonia, the ultimate guide to Buffalo Bayou Park. This massive repertorial undertaking documents the transformation of a landmark park. Illustration holds the varied content together, but the story never becomes too repetitive, with each page exploring a different facet of the project in a new way. Philadelphia Magazine, the ultimate guide to summer. This bold package captures the colorful verve and, with a wink, the slog of summer in Philadelphia. With surprises on each spread, the varied content is tied together with consistent visual and editorial voice. It's witty and fun, but delivers on service too. Seattle Met, the new guide to cannabis. This dynamic 8-page package delivers all readers need to know about the shops, strains, and personalities sparking Seattle's burgeoning cannabis industry. It's a great time to be curious. In the category of food or dining feature package, the finalists are Boston Magazine, How to Eat Like a New Englander. In New England, old school traditions mingle with new school thinking, and this package honors both. Because to truly eat like a New Englander, you need to know where to get the best whoopie pie and a super tasty chowder topped with squid ink crackers. Houstonia, Where to Eat Crawfish Now. There's not a lot that's more southern than a crawfish boil, and this Houstonia package gives the iconic food event a fresh take. The magazine focuses on classic restaurants and the new guard, and it provides plenty of servicey sidebars. Minneapolis-St. Paul Magazine, How to Eat Minnesotan. This package runs down some of the region's quintessential dishes, from Jell-O salad to Juicy Lucy's, and it does so with a quirky style that fits the food and history behind the city's dining culture. Texas Monthly, The Golden Age of Barbecue. This comprehensive list of the best barbecue joints cuts through the smoke to get to the meat. Sure, there's talk of flavor and crust and smoke penetration, but the people are the heart of this package, giving this delicious story a ton of personality. Yankee Magazine, Lobsterpalooza. Part travelogue, part trivia, part recipe, part competitive eating essay, this multi-textured package is a love letter to lobster. The charming prose anchors the package and sets the tone for this celebration of the quintessential crustacean. In the category of civic journalism, the finalists are Baltimore Magazine, Tomorrowland. This sharply observed exploration of a major municipal overhaul toggles between high hopes for a Baltimore remade in the image of Dubai and fears that the project will deepen the city's existing segregation. Broad and inclusive reporting makes clear the complex moral questions that surround redevelopment. Boston Magazine. Turns out the deadliest part about being a Boston firefighter isn't running into a burning building. With vivid scene setting and powerful, painful interviews, this story unravels the tragic circumstances and decisions that are killing Boston's firefighters. This compact, precisely written story tells a memorable tale of an avoidable tragedy. Chicago Magazine, Budget Mayday. A great model for budget reporting, this story takes a complex project and makes it easy to understand. The writing, graphics, and multimedia are designed to walk the audience through the issues in a way that is compelling and impactful. Cleveland Magazine, Our Epidemic. Much has been reported about the opioid crisis, but Cleveland does an excellent job of examining the impact on a community in smart, creative, and compelling ways. Making a huge news story feel intensely personal is what this story does best. Sarasota Magazine, Time Bombs. In vivid, authoritative language supported by excellent writing and reporting, Sarasota warns readers about the dangerous mountains of waste produced for Florida's phosphate industry. The story harnesses strong examples of accidents involving this waste to give a clear picture of what might lie in store for Floridians if they don't act, and act soon. In the category of special issue, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Adventure Issue. These stories cover adventure thoroughly, ranging from gear, the adventure business, to well-written pieces of past and present adventurers, to how readers can seek their own thrills. 5280 delivers on its promise of an adventure issue with great style. Baltimore Magazine, How Baltimore Invented the Modern World. As issue themes go, this one makes a bold claim. But Baltimore delivers with 110 historical gems, one for each year the magazine has been in print, spotlighting the city's long history as an incubator of talent, technology, and trends. Down East, the magazine of Maine, the Great Maine Scavenger Hunt. And a clever reinvention of the summer vacation issue, Down East offers 40 fun destinations and activities, coupled with a web platform where readers posted selfies to prove they accomplished each challenge. A fresh take that drives exploration and engagement. Our Detroit. Detroit 1967. From the Ashes. Our Detroit's commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the 1967 Detroit riots brings nuance and depth to such a sensitive subject. It deftly combines archival content with excellent service to make the story alive and vital today. Texas Monthly, Hurricane Harvey. In throwing its staff into the Hurricane Harvey story and wrestling with its implications, Texas Monthly pulls off a remarkable feat on deadline. With a variety of storytelling techniques, the publication brings readers insight and perspective that only a regional magazine can do. In the category of Ancillary, Home and Shelter, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Home, December-January. This issue features engaging, tightly edited stories with a strong local point of view. Carefully curated and edited, 5280 Home is beautifully produced with high-quality photos, thoughtfully designed pages, and compelling pacing. Boston Magazine, Home, Winter. Like a tour through a masterfully decorated house, the Winter 2017 issue presents pleasing surprises at every turn. The stories and photography provide unique settings, inviting readers to linger, while a cohesive design creates simple navigation and breezy pacing. D Magazine, Home, September-October. D Home delivers a visually rich experience from the front of its oversized cover to the final page. Packed with glossy photos and high-energy layouts, the content delivers, and the whole is anchored by the beautifully photographed and nicely written features. Greenwich Magazine, At Home, November-December. A standout of this magazine is the light and airy feel it creates. The outstanding photos, modern design, and excellent attention to detail give this issue continuity and makes readers want to turn the page to see more. Portland Monthly, Design Annual. This issue impresses with bold and playful typography. The subtle use of pattern, strong photography, and interplay of type creates attention-grabbing design. The magazine's voice, interesting and a little gritty, comes through clearly. In the category of ancillary weddings, the finalists are Baltimore Magazine, Bride, Spring Summer. An unforgettable gown made entirely of 20 years of Baltimore bride covers is a fitting representation of this vibrant issue. Enthusiastic, real, and refreshing, it's a great guide for creating a perfect wedding the Charm City way. Boston Magazine, Weddings, Volume 1. This issue is packed with lively photos, spot-on planning tips, and at the heart of it all, a robust guide of Instagrammable venues like sprawling coastal retreats, idyllic farmland, and elegant city spaces that reflect New England. Philadelphia Magazine, Wedding, Fall-Winter. A clever dose of reality and reader service adds authenticity and romance without detracting from the dream day with relatable couples, attainable ways to do a white color scheme, and wedding buys that give back to the community. Portland Monthly, Bride and Groom, Summer Fall. This issue is a shining example, seen through the creative lens of a wedding planner. Namely, stories that are fascinating and functional, lush photography, and quirky touches that reflect the unique character of the Pacific Northwest. Washingtonian, Bride and Groom, Summer Fall. Planning a wedding brings up a surprising number of questions, from finding work-life balance during the process to choosing a signature, and well-deserved, drink. Washingtonian Bride and Groom has practical answers that demystify every facet of the big day, along with inspiring visuals and expert tips. In the category of ancillary general interest, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Traveler. Loaded with useful content, striking photos, and engaging graphic elements, 5280 captures Colorado's spirit of adventure and natural beauty. There's plenty to discover thanks to the harmonious blend of stories, design details, and thoughtful entry points. D Magazine, CEO, October. DCEO's coverage feels topical, especially its emphasis on reporting, and especially in stories that show a local example of a national issue. With a mix of columns, profiles, and investigations, the magazine examines its city instead of just celebrating it. Indianapolis Monthly, The Ticket. Peek behind the curtain of this issue and find striking section openers and great pacing. Easy to navigate event listings and well-placed stories on the people behind this area's cultural events provide unexpected editorial texture and interest. Philadelphia Magazine, Be Well Philly. With its clean, consistent design, Be Well Philly is easy to navigate. The sidebars and expert picks are sharply written and full of insider service, making this more than just a list of classes and events. Portland Monthly, Newcomer's Guide. This guide delivers a fresh welcome with color and wit. Strong design and a distinct voice present a charming cultural map of the community. Newcomers will find real reader service here, with a nugget or two for existing residents. In the category of Excellence Online, the finalists are 5280, Denver, 5280.com. 5280's online content is deep and reflective of the city, and the design is clean and mobile-friendly. Although there isn't much video or multimedia, the photography is particularly strong. The multiple images across individual stories are noteworthy. Chicago Magazine, chicagomag.com. Look no further than the first scroll of Chicago Magazine's website to know that this staff knows Chicago. There you will encounter two parallel columns, politics and city life, across from food and drink. What better way is there to capture the appetites of this great city? Houstonia, houstoniamag.com. Houstonia is a strong, attractive site that functions well on mobile. Some nice video content and a deep well of interesting, sometimes surprising, articles reflect the diversity of the city. Philadelphia Magazine, phillymag.com. With smart and sophisticated content, this site features a design that highlights one main item, yet also allows readers to see the other website highlights with a quick scroll. The trending column is a great feature to see what is popular on the site. St. Louis Magazine, stlmag.com. A well-designed layout draws readers to a main feature, with colorful secondary features also highlighted. The website is easy to navigate with content that suggests a thorough knowledge of its community. In the category of online column, the finalists are Buffalo Spree, Long Story Short, Bruce Adams. Smart, snappy, and funny, these columns run down what's happening in Western New York, noting why you should care, what you can take away, and keeping you reading and chuckling until the end. Chicago Magazine, The Last Holdouts, Staff. This is an excellent example of how to capture vivid details about the life of a city that is both celebratory and melancholy. An outstanding local voice, the series incorporates reporting from staff, as well as stories that are told by the business owners themselves. Chicago Magazine, Wet Moser's 312, Wet Moser. Moser elevates seemingly mundane topics like city planning, energy, and baseball with deep reporting, and as an astute observer of urban life, its rites, rituals, and history. Philadelphia Magazine, News and Opinion, Ernest Owens. Speaking truth to power, Owens calls people on their privilege and deftly challenges misconceptions on race and racism, lacing his impeccable writing with undeniable facts. His voice is one to be reckoned with, in Philly and in our country. Yankee Magazine, The Farmer's Life, Julia Shipley. Shipley offers something many people secretly crave, an authentic slice of country life. An award-winning poet and author, she sheds suburbia to blossom in the rural landscape of Vermont and tells stories of agrarian ideals. In the category of e-newsletter, the finalists are 5280, Denver, Table Talk. Table Talk does what a newsletter is supposed to do: whet appetites. Each story is condensed to its purest form with pithy headlines and beautiful photos. Perfect for scrolling, it's something to look forward to receiving in your inbox. Baltimore Magazine, Local Flavor. Great design, fun content, easy to consume and graze through. The new design has depth and texture and is rich, bright, and bold. Boston Magazine, Boston Sunday. Boston Sunday oozes with personality. It touches a broad range of topics while not feeling random. When this newsletter arrives, you instantly feel like you're a member of a local club. Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine, Swag. The content in Swag shines. This entry distinguishes itself with a contemporary design and an exemplary user interface. Philadelphia Magazine, Philadelphia Sunday. Philadelphia Sunday feels like an entire magazine in newsletter form. The human curation element shines through, making subscribers feel like an editor hand-picked these stories with care. In the category of multi-platform storytelling, the finalists are Baltimore Magazine, This is What Activism Looks Like. Placing powerful artists together in a serious package leaves readers inspired and angered. Especially effective are the diversity of voices, tough headline typography, and the excellent use of pull quotes. Chicago Magazine, Welcome to Refugee High. Chicago rides high with rich, timely content structured around excellent photography featuring high school refugees. The images and video visuals pair with words to create an empathetic message of what it feels like to be an outsider. D Magazine, the 11 most stylish people in Dallas 2017. Stylish topography combines with exquisite moving portraiture in this exhilarating entry. The creative minds behind these portraits give readers a chance to see the designer's personality while watching in slow motion as the fabrics sway. Honolulu Magazine, a snail's tale. There's no slowing the creativity of a staff that poured everything into the story of rare Hawaiian land snails, from great print design, a humorous video, and a 360 video of scientists working. Palm Springs Life, Route 66 Revisited. Highly styled music, fashion, and cars send viewers back in time with this Route 66-inspired fashion story. The photographic vision, the toning and lighting play well with the desert landscape. In the category of General Excellence 1, the finalists are Cleveland Magazine. Cleveland Magazine's readers easily navigate each issue, learning about newfound treasures, whether it's the gigantic cannoli or private school listings. Add a serious tone with a discussion of the opioid epidemic or the battle between suburban development and rural life, and readers walk away with getting to know the very best of Cleveland. Columbus Monthly. Featuring a remarkable breadth and depth of coverage, Columbus Monthly creates a rich sense of place and gives voice to the full spectrum of its citizens' experiences and interests. Never resorting to superficiality or boosterism, this magazine is an indispensable resource for connecting with a diverse, vibrant region and its people. Palm Springs Life. Palm Springs Life is a visual marvel, a compelling window into the rich and storied culture of artists, architecture, and society that draws reflexive inspiration from this desert landscape. From intimate portraits of a mid-century architect's tools to how lauded local chefs come up with their favorite meals, readers are given an insider's access into the creations this area inspires. San Antonio Magazine. The pages of San Antonio burst with purposeful details, from captions, sidebars, and full-page illustrations to the harmony of badges and type that organize incredible service packages. The magazine embodies the spirit of the city in word, line, and color, leaving readers more aware of the vitality of their community and equipped to partake of it. Sonoma Magazine. Sonoma Magazine's readers may be greeted by the rear view of a nude from a Summer of Love feature paired with a logo in psychedelic colors, or a juicy tilted burger from Petaluma. Inside, a true crime story becomes a graphic novel. Add wine, and readers get a city magazine in a country setting every issue. In the category of General Excellence 2, the finalists are D Magazine. D Magazine, with its classic aesthetic and service-oriented edit, encourages readers to explore the past and present Dallas. The magazine emulates the pride its readers feel for their quaint small towns and bustling neighborhoods, while confronting hard-hitting truths about the city. The passion for Dallas is highly evident in every issue. Indianapolis Monthly. Indianapolis Monthly cares about its city and showcases the folks who work to make the state capital a better place. It offers smart reading on everything from a local lifestyle blogger to an exploration of a small town's world-renowned modernist architecture. Covers stories on the White River, locally grown Vice President Mike Pence, and the exploding Hoosier food scene are journalism at its best. This magazine knows exactly what its readers want and delivers. Portland Monthly. Portland Monthly's striking covers feature a riveting mix of content that entices readers to venture inside. The magazine combines ambitious journalism and excellent service with topics ranging from climate change to politics to culture and culinary. It's a magazine that succeeds in inspiring Portland's readers and its visitors. Seattle Met. With its energetic design and friendly, hopeful, and optimistic vision for what its city can be, Seattle Met remains one of the top regional magazines in the country. Drawing on local lingo and mixing the region's creative vibe with its edgy progressive politics, the magazine manages to feel insidery and yet welcoming, helping to define and shape one of the country's most interesting corners. St. Louis Magazine. Passion, ambition, smarts, sexy. Pulling all of that off in a single issue of a magazine is an accomplishment. But getting all of that into several issues, that is generally excellent. That's St. Louis Magazine. In the category of General Excellence 3, the finalists are 5280, Denver. 5280 brings a breath of fresh mountain air to the city and regional magazine scene. Whether it's a food story on edible bugs, a long-form piece retracing the steps of a Western pioneer, or an exploration of Colorado's budding cannabis industry, these pages serve up a delightful blend of sharp writing, first-rate design, and actionable service presented in fun, bold, and always creative ways. Chicago Magazine. Chicago Magazine captures the vibrant pulse of its home turf, from rendering intimate narratives with lush visuals to covering the roiling political scene. From the practical requirements of any vital regional magazine of record, chronicling the exploding food and art scenes, for example, to the loftier elements of storytelling, Chicago is a must-read in the Windy City. Philadelphia Magazine. An always vibrant mix of reporting, smart, in-depth writing, and insightful service, Philadelphia Magazine strives to give readers the intel they need to thrive and explore in the place they call home. Thoughtful, shrewd, and timely, this magazine is an ever-important city asset. Texas Monthly. Texas Monthly chronicles life in contemporary Texas with insightful writing, wide-ranging story selection, and skilled design. Striking covers welcome readers inside to experience stories that often go deeper than expected, but are effortless to absorb. Washingtonian. Please keep on keeping on, for who could imagine living in DC and not being a Washingtonian subscriber? The Year of Trump cover story is top-notch. The Best Restaurants engaging package deserves special commendation. The off-the-market real estate column goes beyond what and where to who. Plus, catching up with end of the Cold War comic Yakov Smirnoff? Now? Brilliant magazine making.